school is a very weird topic to talk about. Yep, I'm going to be talking about my 3 middle schools. And for the most part, middle school is actually pretty good. But there is one year that holds the middle schools back from being great. And I'm kind of losing viewership here because the last 3 videos do not get as many views as I usually get. So that means my channel is kind of dying. Don't worry, I'll still make videos, but I won't be uploading anything for a while because, yet again, people haven't been watching my videos nearly as much as they usually do. So yeah, these are my 3 middle school years, ranked from worst to best. Here we go. I don't think any of these years are bad, but choosing what is my least favorite was pretty easy. 7th grade. This is easily the weakest out of the 3 middle school years. But it was also one of the more nostalgic years according to my YouTube era in 2020. You all are probably shocked or mistaken that you thought 8th grade would be at the absolute bottom of the barrel. But according to my pinned comment on the 8th grade analysis video, the review is no longer accurate. So why is 7th grade the worst middle school year? Simple, it's the COVID year. We had to wear face masks for the entirety of the school year, which doesn't make the school year enjoyable. Speaking of which, I didn't enjoy the classes I had in the school year. They're just so boring. The only classes I actually liked in 7th grade were technology, music, and that's basically it. The worst class in 7th grade is definitely English. I absolutely despise this class. Literally every single week I'm in English class, we had to type a 200-word essay expressing your opinions on different topics, which I'm currently doing right now, by the way. It's just kind of breaking the fourth wall right now. These topics in English are not very interesting, and the class itself may take the cake for one of the worst grades I have ever gotten in education. Also, this year was the downfall year of the students. They were all very annoying, they kept being pricks to me, and the worst part of the students is that most of my best friends were now virtual for the time being of this year. The school days themselves were not very interesting, especially in the beginning of the year. I hated the beginning of the year, especially from months September to October. Why do I hate them? Because I was only allowed to go to school on Thursdays and Fridays because my last name was from L to Z. Anyone who has the last name from A to K only goes to school on Mondays and Tuesdays, which means that Wednesday school is like completely off. And the schoolwork is incredibly frustrating. I've gotten one of the worst grades ever in English. Wow, this year was just all over the place. The only saving graces about this school year is 1, I interacted with Derpy Small a lot in this year, 2, the YouTube era was definitely nostalgic even though it was kind of frustrating, and 3, there are years that are worse than this. I also forgot to mention that there were no field trips at all in 7th grade, which is actually understandable because, yeah, it's the COVID year and we're not supposed to go anywhere in 7th grade, which I guess is understandable. Is this year bad? Not really, but it's just a standard mediocre year. Now let's go on to the second best, or second worst, if you can call it, the list. You know, I actually thought the first couple of months of 9th grade were actually kind of decent, but once November hit, I audibly said this. Perhaps I treated 8th grade too harshly. And I was right. 8th grade is actually, indeed, a good year. I pointed out ridiculous amounts of issues throughout 8th grade, but as of right now, the good in this year definitely outweighs the bad stuff that happened in this year, surprisingly. Mainly because of the terrible stuff that happened in this year just kind of went eliminated after I finished 9th grade. Like 5th grade, I was assigned into some clubs. I was not in 1, but 2 clubs this year. I was in the coding club first, which was really fun considering that I had to download Spiro EDU just to remote control Spears, Look up Spiro EDU on Play Store and you'll see what I mean by coding. The other club I have literally right after coding is the cooking club. I also really enjoyed the cooking club as well. Unironically, there's 2 girls in that club who wouldn't stop talking about me. They were on their own little tangent about me being cute or not, which I obviously love to see what girls ever think about me. This just rarely happens now in 10th grade. So how many field trips were there in this year? Only 2, and both of them I enjoy. The first field trip was the Spanish restaurant trip, which I did like the field trip, but it was very underwhelming. Then we had the Topgolf field trip, which was definitely more fun and enjoyable. What actually happens in this year is good, but nothing special. My favorite class of the year was either a tie between algebra and Spanish. Spanish is my favorite class of 8th grade, but the students ruined it, which causes Spanish to be tied with algebra. The worst class of the year is definitely living environment. This class was frustrating as hell and completely ruined my grade point average or GPA, and I even failed the regions of living environment. The worst part of 8th grade is definitely the students. They weren't as bad as they were in 7th grade, but they still got on my nerves. Not to mention that the second last day of 8th grade, we had a dance luau. Despite me loving parties, this was pretty underwhelming and disappointing. Once again, the YouTube era was very fun for me. Not a whole lot happens with 8th grade, and there's not really a whole lot of problems in 8th grade. This year was just pretty enjoyable. Now, which year is better? I mean, what do you even want me to say? This is easily my favorite middle school year, and this is actually my #1 favorite school year of all time. Forget 5th grade. This is the real peak of school years, and it's definitely almost perfect. This year is the last time I ever got to see the students resemble as likable, because they were really likable in this year. I actually barely even got bullied at all, which is definitely satisfies me. The classes are really good, and I actually like all the classes, including English, before English went downhill in 7th grade. The field trips were also the highlight. The first field trip was to a beach to learn about the lifestyle. That was pretty fun. The second field trip was watching a play of Frozen. Yay! The only big problem with this year is that this year went on lockdown because of 2020 coronavirus. I really don't have a whole lot to talk about 6th grade because I'll talk about it in a future video coming in 2 years. But still, this is my pick of school years, and it's comfortably the most nostalgic and memorable year out of all of them. Well, that is it for the video. This was pretty difficult yet again. I really don't have a whole lot to say about all these middle school years because the middle school years are all pretty good. The only year I didn't like from the middle school years was definitely 7th grade. 7th grade was not a bad year, but it was pretty mediocre. And 7th grade is probably like my 4th least favorite school year, but I'm not 100% sure.
Even though I said I won't be uploading anything, I'm technically not going to be uploading any reviewing videos until like around April to June, because honestly these reviewing videos are just getting pretty generic in my opinion.
So yeah, thank you all for watching, Lagosto, and have a great day.